In the heart of the Akram Desert, far from civilization, Dr. Evelyn Clark, a seasoned paleontologist, worked tirelessly under the unrelenting sun. Her team had left weeks ago after deeming the site unremarkable. But Evelyn, driven by an unshakable intuition, stayed. Her efforts were rewarded when her pickaxe struck. Something unusual, an enormous skeleton, unlike anything recorded. The bones were massive, twisted, and clawed. What caught Evelyn's attention wasn't their size, but the strange, deep gouges on the ribs. They looked like battle scars, marks made by something far more terrifying. She brushed the sand off the fossils and stared at the claw marks, her mind racing. What predator could overpower such a beast? As the sun dipped below the horizon, Evelyn set up her tent, her lantern casting flickering shadows over the excavation. The desert, usually full of nocturnal sounds, was unnervingly silent. She chalked it up to exhaustion. That was until she felt a low rumble beneath her feet. At first, she thought it was a tremor, common in the area. But the rhythmic vibration grew louder, steadier, like footsteps, heavy ones. She grabbed her flashlight, her heartbeat quickening. Outside, the desert stretched endlessly, and her beams caught strange imprints in the sand near the bones. Her breath hitched as she crouched to examine them. They weren't human. They weren't even animal. They matched the claw marks on the skeleton perfectly. A chill ran through her despite the heat. She stood up, scanning the horizon, and froze when a faint guttural growl reached her ears. The sound grew louder, reverberating through the stillness. The ground shook beneath her boots. A shadow, impossibly large, flickered at the edge of her vision. The flashlight beam wavered, and then she saw them, two glowing eyes, staring back at her from the darkness. Her mind rebelled against what she was seeing. This couldn't be real. The creature that had left those marks should have been extinct for millions of years. And yet here it was, its massive form breaking through the shadows, its growls deep and menacing. Panic surged as she bolted toward her jeep, parked a few hundred meters away. The roar behind her turned guttural, primal. The ground shook as the monstrous being gave chase, its footsteps thunderous and deliberate. She stumbled, but forced herself forward, adrenaline drowning her fear. She reached the jeep, fumbling with the keys, her hands shaking. The growl grew deafening, the shadow looming over her. Before she could even start the engine, she turned to face the creature, a predator from an era long forgotten. Her last thought, as the beast lunged, was chilling. Extinction isn't always the end.